From that, I want to.
Okay, now we hear about that pilot detainment as well.
Minutes ago, about
Netanyahu now reported safe at an undisclosed location.
sirens that have been happening across the country. The MDA teams had provided medical treatment in the greater Tel Aviv area. You were seeing what looked like the impact area, either it hit the ground or the building there. You were seeing the damage done to the building there. This is a live shot of Tel Aviv. 5 injured individuals is the latest that we're hearing. 1 in moderate condition, 4 lightly injured by shrapnel. They have been evacuated to the hospital as we do await an update on them. As you can imagine, right now they're still responding to the scene there, Jen.
Well, it's interesting, and as serious as it may sound in terms of injuries on the ground, that is a very light casualty toll. If those individuals are not seriously injured and nobody has been killed, given that 100 ballistic missiles were fired at Israel tonight, I would say that is good news.
There is talk about potentially a fire near the Negev Nuclear Research Facility. That is here. This is in Israel. It's actually sort of out over here in the desert. And you can see here's the Dimona city of Dimona, however you want to pronounce it. And there are some reports of fire near here, so almost like tit for tat kind of retaliation. One of the issues that you have is this. Some of these could be reactors. You have a massive cooling facility right here. You can see this is like basically a giant air conditioner. So I imagine this is probably some form of reactor, but I don't see any kind of like giant steam vent that you would typically associate. Here, potentially some other reactors as well. Unclear exactly how, what technology they're using or type of reactors, but some reports now potentially a fire around this facility. In addition to obviously the strikes that we've now seen in Israel, with this probably being the most shocking right here. This was the first sort of impact live. Oh. Let's play it. Wow.
Might be a little better on my desk.
You need to get ready to pull it off the stick. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go.
Oh, no way! Oh! That was probably this.
The 15 closed.
And it's common for these attacks to happen in the early morning hours, still at night, so now it's turning day.
John, great to be with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Our coverage will continue here on the Fox News Channel. I'm Sandra Smith.
And I'm John Roberts. The story with Martha picks it up from here.
Thank you very much, guys. And indeed, we have continued breaking news coverage this afternoon. I'm Martha McCallum. This is the story of the hour, of the days, and likely of many days to come. We are watching tonight, Tel Aviv time, as incoming missiles from Israel, from Iran, I should say, into Israel light up the skies over Tel Aviv. Israelis have been told, which they are quite used to since October.
U.S. forces are now participating in defeating the Iranian attack. All right. The U.S. is now involved. We saw that happening pretty dang fast.
This all happening after Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, vowed to, quote, bring vile Israel to ruin. And that is the kind of language we hear quite a bit from the Ayatollah in terms of their capabilities and what they will do next. That is what we hope to unravel some of for you live as we watch this action during this hour. General Jack Keane is with us watching as this unfolds. First, we want to check in with our chief foreign correspondent.
Yeah, all right. So let's jump for a moment because nothing new here right now. It looks like so far the launches may have stopped. That might be the extent of it so far.
Though not in the region at this moment, but watching as we are what is happening. Jeremy, give us a sense of the latest of the situation there on the ground.
You want to send me a video? You can send it to my ex at RealMeKevin. That's probably the easiest.
What seems to be a resident.
Send it in a DM.
Was struck. We do know that at this hour there are a number of injuries as a result of some of these strikes, according to Magen David Adom, which is effectively Israel's emergency response services. There are several injuries at this stage, individuals who are in moderate condition, as well as some.
All right, so that's apparently the big. Let's see what. Okay, Israel now announces the destruction of the uranium facility at Isfahan. This is something we had talked about earlier. Israel. Let me pull it up. Isfahan nuclear facility. This was the one we were Google Mapsing around a little bit earlier. And let's see, nuclear center. Here it is, Isfahan. This region here, that would be this. So this facility could potentially now also be destroyed following the Natanz hits yesterday.
Very close to the Israeli intelligence headquarters of the Mossad, as well as the Shin Bet, but for the most part, they landed in the middle of roads, on medians, and did not cause any.
It just sounds a little propaganda-y there. Oh yeah, for the most part, landed on roads. 4 people treated for anxiety. Yeah, a little skeptical. I think most people, in fairness, are probably in the bomb shelters, though, which is good, because then you obviously limit the loss of life here. Plenty of advanced warning. So, all right, let's do a quick little recap for those of us just joining now. So if you're just now joining, Iran has reportedly launched over 300 ballistic missiles towards Israel. Population centers as well. This is a little bit problematic because, I mean, here's an apartment building that's on fire, and one of the reasons this is problematic is because about an hour before this particular strike right here, Israeli officials, senior military officials, said that if Iran strikes our population centers, we will strike your population centers and regime targets in the capital of Tehran if you hit our population centers. We did just have 9 hits in Tel Aviv and elsewhere, reports of explosions inside of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, these being the largest reports that we're seeing right now. There are also reports of potential fire near the Negev Nuclear Research Facility. This is pretty well in the desert out here in Israel, so away from population centers. This feels a lot more like a tit-for-tat kind of attack, where if there are indeed fires outside or even at this nuclear facility, it would sound like a reasonable tit-for-tat, especially since we are now getting reports that, oh yeah, and here's another potential military compound that was hit inside of Tel Aviv. Personally, I kind of think like they almost want this crappy kind of building to be hit because it literally says military area. Like it's the most obvious kind of dilapidated military infrastructure I feel like you have here in Tel Aviv. But anyway, there's also now talk that the Israeli military has taken out the Isfahan nuclear facility. That would be right here. This, very much like the Natanz nuclear facility, has very large, rocky landscaping right next to it, which seems like it would be ideal for some form of tunneling or bunkering of some form, just like we saw at the Natanz nuclear facility. So reports now from Israel that this facility has been destroyed, which would be on top of the Natanz facility, which we saw yesterday, and speculated that there were bunkers under here, which of course then we saw the Israeli, renderings of deep bunkers underneath that particular facility. Now Iran has struck back with 300 ballistic missiles. Again, about 9 impacts expected on the ground. One of those, that apartment building, some of them reported to be streets, others reported to be potentially causing fires outside of some of the Israeli nuclear facilities. So not ideal that, obviously some munitions got through the Israeli defense system. It'd be nice not to see that happen, but it happens. Remember that the munitions that are used in the short-range system are put together by I think it was Raytheon. They're the we'll pull it up here. The Tamir missile. It costs about $40,000. It is a guided missile, and it is right here, put together by Raytheon, an RTX business. Iron Dome system and Sky Hunter missile. Costs about $30,000 to $40,000 a piece. They do say they're supposed to be about 90% accurate. And in fairness, out of 300, you would potentially expect 30 impacts. There are reports of 9, so a little bit better than advertised, I suppose. However, it's possible that this apartment building could have led to some casualties. So far, the Israeli media, and you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but the Israeli media is suggesting, oh, well, we're just treating 4 people for anxiety, 4 people for minor injuries, and 1 person for a more serious or moderate injury is what they're claiming. So again, take some of the sort of propaganda with a grain of salt, but obviously we could see some of the impacts here and actual practical damage that's being caused. Mind you, this also ties along with what Israel shared with their over 2 strike against Iran, and this is that Natanz nuclear facility. And I just want you to see that bunker, because we were just talking about the Esfahan nuclear facility, and we saw the sort of like rocky landscaping surrounded by walls, just like this one at Natanz. This is obviously that 3D rendering where Israel's propaganda is telling us that, yes, there are centrifuges under there. Now, could there be? Yeah, probably are, okay? The facility has, an outer wall, an inner wall. Yes, they probably have nuclear enrichment facilities underneath the dirt. So, I'm willing to believe that. Am I willing to believe that only 4 people are, being treated for anxiety? No, obviously, that's a convenient thing to say. But let's be real, Israelis knew this counterattack was coming, and they go into bomb shelters. They have bomb shelters for this purpose, and that's a good thing. That's how you minimize the loss of life, right? That said, that missile that got through, we caught that live, and it was really quite intense to see it live. So I'm just going to go ahead and play that live. I posted this on X. You can follow me there at RealMeatKevin. But this was the live. These are your longer range interceptors, I believe, in this clip, and your longer range interceptors, your longest range interceptors, which would likely be these over here going off into the distance. Those longer range ones are usually called your Arrow 2 and your Arrow 3 system. Colloquially, all of these systems are considered part of the Iron Dome, but technically the Arrow 2, Arrow 3 systems are separate. Then you have the medium range David Sling. And then you have the short range Iron Dome, which are usually your Tamir missiles, like this. This is probably a Tamir missile right here. However, they're not perfectly accurate, especially at short range, because things come in very quick once you're at a short range level. So as soon as you start seeing the Iron Dome come in, you're getting closer to like an actual strike. And that's exactly what happened here. Pay attention to this side, the left side of the building here, and you'll see this was the big impact. What we believe is likely the impact against this particular apartment building here. Does look like finally that fire is being extinguished. Took probably about firefighters to get up there and fight that fire. So it does look like they were actually able to get up. Staircases hopefully not collapse to get in there. Hopefully the building doesn't collapse, obviously. But take a look at this here.
Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go.
Oh, no way! Oh!
Okay.
Oh, crap!
Guys, come on, everyone move. Everyone move now. Stay with us, stay with us. Pick up the gear.
Oh, wow. Play that again there.
You need to get ready to pull it off the stick. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go.
Oh, no way! Oh!
Okay.
Oh, crap!
Guys, come on, everyone move. Everyone move now.
So that was the sort of live moment of that impact. Other things that we're hearing is, Israel's asking people not to share exact locations. I mean, at this point, like the Kira, impact rumor is pretty popular. There's talk about UK jets scrambling. So the British Royal Air Force. There is talk about the United States Air Force getting involved, to be confirmed. Axios is reporting that the United States is involved. Israel is trying to keep under wraps exactly where some of these locations are because they think Iran is watching and sort of calibrating some of their targeting based on what they see on social media. U.S. jets returning over Saudi Arabia to Qatar. So it sounds like potentially the attack may be over at the moment. British jets just now, seconds ago, being reported to also being reported back or returning back to where they came from. So it sounds like the 300 rocket launch we're strike by Iran is over. There's now talk about injuries at the Nevatim Air Base. I may be saying that a little bit wrong. I do have coordinates of that air base. And so there's a report of injuries of this. Obviously, we don't know exactly where the impacts are, but there are reports of injuries here, so I would assume that there were impacts over here. Keep in mind also the Iron Dome is really designed to protect civilian areas, so it's very likely that some of these airstrips, you know, we've got runway 25 over here. That looks like a quad prop plane right here. Runway 25 over here. What do we have on this side? We got some taxiways. I mean, this is a pretty big airport. Runway 26 right here. I've got 26 left, 26 right. So this is a 3-runway airport, multiple taxiways and facilities here. We've got multiple what look like military aircraft. There are reports of fires at this facility right now, as well as injuries that are just now coming through. And just to show you kind of where this airbase is, it's actually not too far away from where we saw that nuclear facility, research facility that was hit from, you can now see flashlights there just to the left. I see those flashlights in the windows over there. That's wild. So you got firefighters in there probably looking, you know, for either hot spots or, you know, any life that needs to be saved, whether animals or people or whatever. Netanyahu's still quiet. Israeli Kira headquarters hit twice. Again, British and U.S. jets now returning. We did get a lot of footage here of the impact. Here's another footage shot. Oh, wow. Those defense round shot angles are awesome. Let's play that again. Look at that. Oh, no way! Oh, hold on. I hear myself in the background. So this is the problem with X. It just keeps looping your own video over and over again. I mean, I guess that's one way for Elon to pitch that you get more views on X, but come on, man. It's also annoying. All right. So, wow. That's really cool, seeing the defense munitions. Wow. I don't think we have those in my city. Can you imagine just like you're going to walk and you walk by these things? Oh! Wait, let's see that. Oh, wow, look at that. Look how fast that sucker comes in there. Can I slow this down? It looks like a comet. Here we go. Here we go. Oof. Oh, wow. Yikes. That's crazy close. That's an amazingly close shot. Oh, as I say, we haven't heard anything from Netanyahu. Netanyahu, we have taken out a large portion of Iran's ballistic missile arsenal. You know, one of the benefits of Iran firing missiles is you can see where they're firing the missiles from. The thing that Iran does is Iran hides a lot of their missile launchers in tunnels, and then they kind of roll them out when it's time to attack. So they'll roll the missile launchers out, and then they just pop up out of nowhere. And so it's a little harder for the Israelis or, you know, whomever else to identify exactly where these rocket launches are going to come from. So that does make things a little bit more challenging for the Israelis. There is now also talk about potentially Israeli citizens trapped under a collapsed building in Tel Aviv. That's not good. The Iranian attack has ended. Israeli medical staff are responding. Israel announces the destruction of the Isfahan facility. We did cover that. Expect strikes in Iran shortly. So now expect, I mean, we've already seen U.S. and British jets pull back. We would now expect another strike from Iran from Israel against Iran. Israel is prepared to respond by attacking Iran's refineries in the Persian Gulf. Okay, that's going to hit oil prices again a little bit. Second retaliation from Iran has concluded. Third is probable. Israel will now conduct analysis to decide the response. Iranian media reporting the beginning of the fourth wave of the Iranian attack. TBD if we're actually going to get a fourth wave here. But now talk is that all eyes are on the Persian Gulf, waiting to get more updates. So that's currently the latest of the actual strikes that just hit.
We'll check back in with you in a little while, watching the scene on the ground here in Tel Aviv, and you can see that building, which has clear damage to it just above.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't yet, would you mind considering subscribing to the channel to help a brother out? Not only subscribe, but if you want to customize notifications, if you press notifications, you won't actually get all notifications from YouTube. So we made an app to solve that problem because of YouTube's arbitrary 3 notifications and 24-hour limit. We made an app to solve that, and you can customize the notifications you want from me based on whether you want stocks or real estate or geopolitics or whatever. You can download it in the App Store. It's the Meet Kevin app.
Area that was the original one, so we'll just keep an eye on this. We'll figure out which building that is. I want to take a moment now to bring in Bret Baier, who is with us as well with his. You know what? First, we're going to take a listen to this most recent barrage, and then we'll go to Bret. Watch.
This is some short-range system.
There's the famous clip. This is the big moment we caught live.
Okay, there's just a massive amount of fire coming to Tel Aviv right now. Yaniv, get ready to pull it off the sticks. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go. Okay. Guys, come on, everyone move. Everyone move now. Stay with us, stay with us. Pick up the gear, let's go.
It's honestly such an intense clip. Like, that's how you get, like, the Pulitzer Prize, or what do they call it? The media prizes that they get? I don't know what they call them.
Where are these?
Meet Kevin app, laughing emoji. Yeah, it's literally just called Meet Kevin. It's actually a really good app. Like, people like it. And you know, you can use it on iPad, too. I have it on iPad as well. And it's pretty cool, mostly because, I mean, not only can you customize the notifications, but we built a little task app in there as well. So, you know, you can sort your tasks or customize your notifications, you know, whatever you want. I mean, here's just, you know, customize whatever notifications you want. You can obviously pick whatever color you want if you like white or beige or whatever, and then just sort of pick your notifications. I have notifications on for everything.
Good to have you with us. Obviously, we're watching history unfold here, an enormous Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear sites and scientists, and questions about the U.S. and our pre-understanding of this and our involvement at this point. Good to have you with us, Bret.
Yeah, good to be with you. I'm coming from London, and I can tell you that President Trump clearly has been reaching out. I've talked to him a couple of times over the past couple of days. He's talked to a number of different reporters expressing what he sees in this situation. It is clear from all of those conversations that there was a lot of coordination behind the scenes with the Israelis and a lot of knowledge.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what I've been saying since like minute one. That, you know, there's, of course, like, the U.S. is going to be all over coordinating this with Israel. They're just going to be in the background a little bit, you know?
Iran has taken a really tough hit here. When I talked to him earlier today, he said the Iranians were hit 10 times worse than they thought they would be. They weren't ready to negotiate. I think they may be now. We'll see. You know, this comes, as we've been reporting, as this is really extensive as far as the decapitation effort, trying to take out senior Iranian leadership, the effort to take out Iranian nuclear scientists, very successful according to the Israelis and other U.S. officials, saying 9 out of 10 possibly of the top nuclear scientists were taken out, as well as other top leaders.
Wow.
And then obviously the nuclear facilities, as you've been talking about. I think we're just at the beginning.
By the way, if you want to be part of the Alpha Report and some trade suggestions and perspectives that I give every day, access to all the courses, the private course member live streams and everything, you can go to meetkevin.com. We have a coupon tariffs. I think that's has an expiration later today. You could see it. It's at meetkevin.com. Check that out. I'd love to have you there. If you want to try it for 30 days, try it for 30 days. You don't have to renew if you don't like it. But I think give it a shot. Lock in your price before the prices go up.
But we're just getting some information here that the Saudi Crown Prince and President Trump have been in a phone call discussing these regions, including these Israeli strikes, obviously, on Iran, and stressing the importance for de-escalation and resolving the disputes through diplomatic means. And, it really sheds light. Then you have Netanyahu chiming in and talking about the fact that Iran has never been weaker militarily, politically, in terms of the structure of the remaining leadership in the government, which has been decimated, as have their proxies. So you have interviewed the Saudi Crown Prince and all of the players here over the last year and a half or so. What does this say about the larger shift in Iran's ability and how the power structure may move because of what we've watched?
Well, I think that's a great question. One in which I think Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israelis believed that this was the time to act. If negotiations were stalled, if the U.S. essentially had said, you do what you have to do. They believed since they struck in October that the air defenses inside Iran were really taken out significantly and had not fully been rebuilt, enabling perhaps a window that may have been closing to take out some of these targets. As far as the Middle East, you're right. The Crown Prince is now sitting in a position of prominence as far as trying to get different parties to talk, trying to get all of the parties together. He definitely spearheads the leadership, along with the UAE in the GCC countries. A significant role in talking about where the Middle East is going. I think what they say publicly in the Middle East in some of these countries may be a little bit different than what they say privately. And they would like this to be over soon, but understand Israel's actions tonight.
Brett, Netanyahu is speaking now to a message to the Iranian people and saying,
our war is not with you, blah, blah, blah.
The Israeli people are with you, and we know how strong...
I am with you. And this U.S. military helped shoot down Iranian missiles across... Yeah, I mean, this is, like, well known at this point. U.S. military helped shoot down Iranian missiles heading to Israel. I mean, this is pretty well known right now, but anyway. Okay, let's keep listening here. And, oh, shit. Somebody sent me $50.
Who want to take Tehran and the country back to a place where it was a much more productive, vibrant culture.
Brady Morgan, what's up? Thanks again for the coverage. Anyone know how many missiles Iran has that can reach Israel? Internet and ChatGPT think 2,000 to 3,000. If that's true, Iran can't keep this going for very long, especially since some are being destroyed in Iran. Well, yeah, that's the thing is people, but they shoot them in barrages of like 100. The thing is, every time they take their cars out to launch them, the trucks, they have to quickly put the trucks back in the tunnels because otherwise, Israel just targets the trucks. So it's actually even practically hard to get the 2,000 to 3,000 out. Now, also be careful. Like, sure, they could have a stockpile of a few thousand, but they also manufacture more. Now, are we hitting those infrastructure? Well, is Israel hitting that infrastructure? Probably. Can they hit all of it? Probably not. So I wouldn't be so worried about the supply. I personally would be a little bit more worried about the capability of actually getting it. Getting them all out. Yeah. Thanks, Ellie, for joining.
Intelligence and the IDF to have had that heinous attack on so many people happen under their nose.
I like how they purposefully leave like the fire alarms blaring in the background to make it seem more dramatic. Like, yes, there's a fire still going on. Yes, the fire, fighters are in there trying to fight it, but like, it's kind of annoying.
Brett, they are back on their game in Israel in intelligence when you talk about the extraordinary nature of this attack last night.
I mean, think about the killing of the Hamas leader inside Iran that was essentially planted in a home 6 months before. Then you have the beeper and walkie-talkie, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was like, leaving bombs planted for a very long time, just waiting for them to show up. Like the Israelis, man, smart strats they've got.
Took out a missile.
Is I think the word.
I think we're probably on wave number 1, 2 tonight, and from everything that Jennifer Griffin and others, and I've talked to some officials on the ground, we're likely days, if not weeks, away from the end of this operation.
Brett, thank you very much. We'll hear from you later. Good to have you with us. Thank you. We'll see you soon. So let's bring this first wave of missiles into Israel. Watch this.
Wild look at these interceptions.
Just a short time ago, as the third wave, we understand, is underway of missiles from Iran, 1,000+ miles, sent into Tel Aviv, and we're told that.
Well, that's why there's so much advanced notice, because you could, hear it coming from so far away.
Yeah. When a wave is over, because they can detail how much incoming they have seen so far. A bit of a pause. So with that, I would like to bring in former Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher. Served in the Marine Corps as an intelligence officer, deployed twice to Iraq, and is now head of defense at Palantir Technologies. Mike, very good to have you with us.
And that was crazy, guys. Almost got stopped out by a tick.
Your reaction to what we are
on that
watching
trade,
unfold
probably
here
about
in
to
Israel
get stopped
and
out.
Iran.
But that was nuts.
Well, I think you're witnessing the end of decades of deception on the part of the Iranian regime. For decades, they've used the cover of diplomacy, negotiation to advance their nuclear program, and then a combination of the new administration coming in, President Trump giving the Iranians 60 days to come to the table, as well as the IAEA making disclosures about the fact that they were essentially
happy I didn't put that on live. Follow your rules, guys.
Resulted in the jig being up, and now they're facing devastating consequences. And I think beyond the physical destruction that Israel's
that's a good save.
All right, this is boring. Let's try a different one here.
That gave me a second chance right there.
Get
That was great.
fresh.
If this was live, I'd probably
so far
close
they're
it out.
just repeating
Close it out now to kind of like make it like a less
that path exists for the Iranians to choose. If they choose to stop trying to develop nuclear bombs, and if they choose to relinquish enrichment in Iran, then that is an option that exists, but that is the option that exists, nothing else. If they continue to try to obfuscate and delay military grade and aspire or rush towards nuclear capabilities, that's not going to happen, and that's an offer, that's something of the past. And I think it's important that the Iranians understand that.
All right, Jonathan Conricus, former spokesman for the IDF.
Okay, Israel now saying Iran crossed red lines by launching missiles towards civilian areas. Yikes.
Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel just delivered a message to the Iranian people. We'll tell you more about that when we come back.
Yeah. All right, let's clip off you guys. Bye, Felicia. On X, if you want to follow me there at RealMeKevin. I don't think you're going to get all my stuff in search, though, because Elon, I don't only bootlick Elon. I do like licking his boots, but I also talk shit about him, too, sometimes, so, Elon doesn't like that. He only wants you to be a bootlicker.
Perform between his own instinct, which is to protect Israel. That's like decades of American foreign policy doctrine, is that the United States protects Israel. The Pentagon goes into defensive mode for Israel. We're moving naval destroyers to the area. We're moving hardware and assets militarily to the region that could be used to protect Israel. But at the same time,
All right.
it's.
Okay, what do we got over here?
I'm not
Tesla, by the way, back up 2.6. You know, trying to pick up a little bit here.
My viewpoint on what the probability of the Strait of Hormuz being closed is no better than someone else's. But I will tell you what will happen if that happens. You know, I can't assess the probability, and that's why that's not.
Well, this guy's annoying.
I will tell you. I mean, it's pretty obvious what would happen if that happened. I do think, though, that, I mean, who knows what else, you know, desperate people do. Desperate people do desperate things. I don't know what else is in the Iranian arsenal, what they would do to, you know, to their neighbors, to, you know, Saudi Arabia, to UAE. I mean, I have no, there's too many variables, and I'm too concerned about civilians. And I think that if you look at it, if I'm looking at it objectively, okay, I'm trying to like step back. To me, the risk reward trade is in products, in heating oil spreads, gas oil spreads, and cracks, because that's basically, you know, probably where you're going to lose X to make, you know, 2, 3, 4X.
All right, this guy's just annoying. Look at this photo from the, you know, this sort of put together. Has suddenly been overwhelmed with penthouse sales. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. Get it right. Fire sales. Oh. That's crazy, though. Crater into the penthouse. Crater. It looks like a parking garage now. That's insane. Those are some wild photos. Absolutely wild. 27 minutes to the closing bell.
Just as Scarlett showed us on the chart in May, and we regained our momentum and our confidence in the month of May, now only to confront not geopolitical tension, but potentially a geopolitical crisis. And that's a very different thing. What we had in Gaza, as horrific as it was, what we have in Ukraine with the Russian invasion.
Penthouse is now rock bottom. Oh.
Became understood, they were being addressed, and now overnight last night we enter into the realm of a potential geopolitical crisis, which really can even further chill deal making.
Right, tensions maybe you can price in, but conflict brings in other players as well. And as you think about how this conflict could widen, what does that mean for deal making?
IDF, following the situational assessment, the Homefront Command published that it is now permitted to leave For now, you can get out. So it says, you know, IDF, okay to leave protected spaces now. Interesting. Continue to follow the instructions. Interesting. All right. And then emergency meeting being held about the, oh, interesting. Iraqi Prime Minister is also attending. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. There is radiological and... Uh-oh. That's very interesting. So radiological and chemical contamination at Natanz. Yikes. All right, let's keep listening here.
News this week, as you reported, with a 2.1%, right?
Yeah.
And we've got credit available. We've got private equity with tremendous.
21 now reportedly injured in Israel.
We have strategics who have to transform in the. We just need the conductor to say, things are stable enough, please go play.
This gets to the question, and I know it's hard to sort of pontificate about where we go, but we came into this year, as Scarlett said at the top of this segment, with a lot of optimism for what we're going to see with M&A. And then Trump kind of came in, kind of started, you know, knocking things around, and people were like, okay, let's step back. At the same time, given have to be people calling you, looking for advice, how to navigate tariffs, how to navigate the geopolitical issues, and now, of course, military and warfare issues as well.
That's absolutely right, Romain, because businesses in today's economic world, they cannot succeed organically. They need to engage in non-organic activity. They have to go to places, draw upon R&D, find technologies, enhance their workforces, and the way that they do that, that's why M&A is so important, is through M&A. It drives the global economy for us. And so
it's always the doomer.
Now, our Eamon Javers has more. Eamon?
Oh, let's
Scott,
hear
a
it from
couple of
Washington.
updates here from Israel and then also from the United Nations Security Council, which is meeting now. From Israel first, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, are saying to Israeli citizens that they can leave their secured facilities for now. The guidance they're giving to the Israeli public is stay close, though, to those bomb shelters and other secure areas, but you can go and move about and leave the actual shelter right now. Now, the IAEA chief has been speaking to the going on with the nuclear facilities in Iran. The UN Security Council meeting getting information that there is no indication of an attack on the underground enrichment halls at the Natanz facility inside Iran, but the attack on the power supply there may have damaged the centrifuges. So no indication of an attack on the underground facility there, which is extremely hardened, but that there does appear to have been an attack on the power supply, and that may have damaged centrifuges there. Also that there is...
I guess you could like power surge them or, you know, eradicate the cooling above.
All right, guys, just tapping in. As you can see, that combine trade did get stopped out. Good risk.
To get to those centrifuges.
The measures inside that facility. The IAEA chief Grossi additionally telling the Security Council here that the above-ground plant where Iran was producing uranium that was enriched up to 60% uranium, that has been destroyed. So some information now coming to the UN Security Council. Also, Reuters reporting just within the past couple of minutes here that President Trump spoke today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That's according to a White House official coming from Reuters. That, presumably no surprise as we continue to look at pictures coming out of...
So everything was in parameters. I come in the risk about 550.
Of ground facility in Iran, damage to it.
Some people also, by the way, saying that
zero winning trades this week.
The rumors about an Israeli jet being struck may be false.
Seems to have been damaged, and there is contamination, radiological contamination at that site.
Yeah, I read that.
That is deemed as of right now to be manageable. Scott, back over to you.
I'll come back to you one more time on the issue that we spoke about prior. As we watch those live pictures of downtown Tel Aviv and what the Israeli defense minister suggested were civilian targets and that thus crossing a red line. When speaking with a trader and one so astute and established,
Order
Fisher, for example, hard to even focus on the market.
Order filled.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right, cool. All right, yeah. So I just got this this combine. I'm doing it kind of fast, 500 risks per trade, and as you can see, I didn't want to trade all week. So that's
now
why
of
so I'll be resetting this combine, get some
the
more
situation on the ground. We do anticipate we'll get more details as they start to trickle in.
Talk about Israeli jets circling around the Israeli coastal city of Eilat, southernmost tip of Israel.
And when we look at this, it will take hours to get a full picture of what exactly happened and the extent of the damage. Israeli officials have been very clear about what took place. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, releasing a statement saying that the Iranians crossed a red line in their response, not trying to target military installations in Israel, but firing directly into Israeli population centers. So we can expect...
I mean, that's understandable to be pissed off about, because the as far as we can tell, the Israelis attacked nuclear facilities and military commanders or scientists related to nukes, not civilians.
Leadership from the IRGC, politicians within the Iranian political echelon were not targeted. Certainly, they could be. Will continue for days, if not weeks, as the region.
Before the attack started, Netanyahu did speak with Trump.
Thank you so much. And with that, we bring in, once again, retired four-star General Jack Keane, Fox News senior strategic analyst, former vice chief of staff of the Army, and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, just to look back.
This is an interesting clip. Look at this. Here's a clip of leftovers of get missed or it was shot down, right? And then sort of like fell out of the sky. That's crazy. I mean, imagine if you just went here for lunch, and then next time you walk out, there's like this 7-foot long, 1 meter high, I don't know, 4 feet high. It might be even longer, 10 by 4 or something like that, rocket on the ground. It's crazy.
Thoughts again on that, General?
Yeah. Let me preface that by just bringing you up to date. The third wave is complete. There's been 200 ballistic missiles fired.
300.
Have been direct hits. In other words, penetrating the system.
9.
17 people lightly.
Now. Jeez, how old is your freaking information, bro? Every single number you just said was off.
System. So the Arrow system, the U.S. THAAD system, that's internal to Israel. The layered system that's outside of it, principally the United States Navy with their Aegis cruisers and other ships, adding to that defensive umbrella, has been very effective. The Home Command has issued a warning: you can leave the shelters. That took place about 40 minutes ago, but stay close. Your comment that you just made about Israeli intelligence, they are unparalleled able to achieve. And there's a couple of reasons for it. One, they don't talk about their sources for obvious reasons that the United States intelligence doesn't. But I don't know of too many operations that the Mossad has conducted in Israel for the last 10 years that they don't have cooperation. The secret site at Fordo that was discovered years ago was reported to them by Iranians. So they have multiple sources. How were they able to...
Someone in the chat here says, I'm Israeli. There are 21 people harmed, easy. 2 of them hard mode, meaning doctors fighting for their lives. So that would be like critical versus... So 2 critical. Propaganda. So potentially you're getting that from local news or something. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully everything ends up being okay.
They do that because of their sources that they have, and it's multi-layered sources. They've got informants, they've got platforms that do this. They track these people on a regular basis. Their intelligence is exquisite. And the Mossad, you have got to give them enormous credit.
All right, this guy's just rambling. So just to see kind of how things are... 7 number, and it never really took off. Never really took off after those earnings yesterday. Where's Circle? Circle's crushing it. I'm gonna post my Circle video, well, my credit card issuer video later, but we still should do a Circle analysis. And then we're seeing, Tesla poopy doopy a little bit after being up 4%, gave up about 1.8 when those attacks started. So likely mostly unrelated there to Tesla. Q's now down. Boy, we really, and even in the second part of the day, but you really gave it up upon the attacks. So you gotta have stop losses set just in case Iran sends rockets.
But through public sources, you can...
Bitcoin back to 105 though.
And in all of these operations, Martha, they get assistance from Iranian resistance organizations. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't trained some of these. And the people, the Mossad, they look like Iranians. They are completely bilingual. They speak with no accent whatsoever. They are immersed in the culture. They know how to deal and blend in.
I mean, that's like what the CIA does too.
So these are real experts that operate covertly and achieve a...
Iranian president now saying we are victorious. All right, well, if he wants to declare victory, maybe that means this could all end.
Revealed the fact, that they established a drone base and fired on some air defense systems and some ballistic missile launchers, and showed a video of it. And maybe they didn't reveal it. Somebody else who saw it did. But even that was surprising to find that public view of it. So yes, you put your finger on something that distinguishes Israel in terms of their capabilities.
It may be that they want to share some of those successes because some of the Iranian resistance has been so vital to their efforts. And embolden them at a moment that many people see the Iranian leadership in the most tenuous position it has been in many decades. So, General, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you in a bit. Thank you for being with us. Some of these earlier scenes, the streets of Iran in the wake of Israel's strikes on nuclear facilities and top commanders. Listen to this.
Oh, this is in Iran.
Israel to make a mistake so that we can show the world the power of Iran.
We say to the Zionists that this aggression must be met with a painful response, God willing, from Iran.
I mean, you're interviewing like protesters out there.
Won't be deceived by.
Have we had enough of this? You know, this talk about the Iranian president now saying we are victorious. Again, hopefully that's just a sign that like they're going to be done. Let's listen to Bibi for a moment.
To the people of Iran.
Oh, wow. $49 donation. Thank you. I'm Armenian and my grandparents are in Tehran. They are trying to leave right now. Said there are 4-hour lines at gas stations. Grocery stores are emptied out. But the people are happy. It's finally looking like the end of the regime. Wow. That's wild. That's very interesting because, you know, I suspect that most normal, you know, every safety, you know, like let us go about our lives, like let us have our kids, let us play with our kids, let us go to school, let us go to work, let us do our job and be productive members of society. I can't imagine that a lot of people actually want to be. Thank you, by the way, for donating that, and I hope the best to your grandparents. But I don't think anybody wants to deal with that crap. So very, very sad. Let's listen for a moment to or PM here of Israel. And I do want to take a quick screenshot of your comment there, Anna. Thank you. All right, here we go. So,
proud people of Iran. We're in the midst of one of the greatest military operations in history, Operation Rising Lion. The Islamic regime, which has oppressed you for nearly 50 years, threatens to destroy my country, the State of Israel. The objective of Israel's military operation and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. And as we achieve our objectives, we're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom. In the past 24 hours, we've taken out top military commanders, senior nuclear scientists, the Islamic regime's most significant enrichment facility, and a large portion of its ballistic missile arsenal. More is on the way. The regime doesn't know what hit them. They don't know what will hit them. The nation of Iran and the nation of Israel to unite around your flag and your historic legacy by standing up for your freedom from an evil and oppressive regime. It has never been weaker. This is your opportunity to stand up and let your voices be heard. Woman, life, freedom. Zan, Zandegi, Azadi. As I said yesterday and many times before, Israel's fight is not with you. It's not with you, the brave people of Iran whom we respect and admire. Our fight both oppresses you and impoverishes you. Brave people of Iran, your light will defeat the dark.
You know, I suspect that most.
All right, guys.
You know,
about to go ahead and sign out, man, for the weekend, man. We'll be back Monday. I'll be live streaming most likely the entire day, man. We'll be back to make back this week's losses, man. As I said, versus managed. Good trading week. One good trade, make back all of this week's kerfuffle. So you guys just trade safe, follow your rules. That's it, man. Tap in with us, man. Hit the Discord, like, subscribe, comment. We're gonna be here. Full day streams is what I'm really trying to do in this next wave. So we'll see. Be able to catch all the news, catch all our trades together, things like that, man. So I appreciate everybody that pulled up, man. And we'll tap in next week, guys. Tap in next week.
We're in the midst of one of the greatest military operations in history. Operation Rising Lion. The Islamic